Now we're going to start building your lab notebook. So down here where it does say name and class period, I do want you to type that in just because it is a good habit to get in. You want to make sure that your lab work is saved with your name for record keeping. Then you're going to go to the next page and you see there's a table of contents. We're going to add to this, and I'll show you how to do that. And over the course of the year, this will populate with all of the labs and all of the sections of the labs that you conduct throughout the year. So if you scroll down, there are some brief guides and also video tutorials on how to do different components within the lab notebook. We're going to do the starting a new lab today. We'll also create a list. We probably won't need to do some of these other sections. We're going to create data tables as we go along, and then there are different hints and suggestions and video tutorials for all the different things that you might need to do in writing your lab reports in this digital notebook. So you can refer to those anytime, and obviously you can come back to this video anytime you want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down. Here are the sections of the lab report. We're going to come back to this in a minute, and it gives a brief description of what should be in each section, which is very helpful. Especially if you're new to writing lab reports, this is a great guide for when it says purpose, what does that mean? And I'm going to go over that more. And then what are the introduction section, the materials, etc. And if you follow these guidelines, then by the end of it, you should have a complete and completely done lab report. Okay, and there may be times where you don't need every single point of every one of these sections, but you need to go through it as kind of a checklist and say, did I do that? Do I need this? Is this a lab where I need something different? Here's some sort of formatting and style things, like down here is important personal pronouns. You really don't want to use I think because that's putting yourself into the lab. And then we're going to scroll down. There's some additional links, and then we're going to finally get down here to page 8, which currently is blank. So we're going to start a new lab. So click down here, and we're going to type the title of the first lab, which is thickness of aluminum foil. Okay, once you type that, you want to select it, that whole title. Go up to the top where it says normal text and styles. You want to click on that arrow and type select heading 1, and you'll see that it'll change the format. It made it bigger, made it centered. So now we're going to go back up to the table of contents, and you want to do this every time you do a new lab. Go back to the table of contents, click anywhere in the table of contents. You'll see there's a little refresh icon here. You want to click that, and now you'll see the new lab that we just entered has populated the table of contents complete with a page number. Okay, and every time you add a new lab, it'll start a new one. So then what I think you should do next, and I do this when I'm doing my own papers and things for grad school or whatever it is, if I have a guide like this, sort of a checklist for all the sections and what I need to include, I copy it, and so you can click on edit copy, or you can use the Control-C shortcut. Once you have it copied, scroll back down to where you started your new report. Make sure you enter down a couple of times so that it says normal text again up here. And then I'm going to paste. So I'm going to use the Control-V. So again, this checklist tells you everything that should be in the report. So I'm going to use it, and I'm going to follow along. Obviously, when I'm done, I'm going to delete out the instructions, but this gives me all the sections, and as I'm going through it, I can look at this checklist and say, okay, do I have all this stuff in my introduction? Great. Now I can delete the instructions, and I have my introduction done. So the next thing I'd like you to do is go to each section title and change that to a heading 2 style up here at the top. Okay, and again, you'll see the format changes. It gets a little bigger. It gets a little more space around it. Okay, so do that for all the sections. So again, go back up to the table of contents, click on the table of contents, click refresh, and now you see that your sections within the lab are here with the page numbers. These page numbers will update as we fill it in because they won't all obviously be on the same page when we're done. But this way, if anyone ever needs to check, like myself, if I want to focus on one section of the report, I can click on that and it will take me right to that section. Okay, so we're going to do this for each lab. So I want you to go into your notebook and I want you to complete these steps. Add the new lab title, add the sections, you can copy and paste right from that list that's there, and then update your table of contents so that it looks like this. So complete those tasks and then go to the next video.